And we are back in our episode of NBA 2K14. In the last episode, earlier the first game, it was the OKC Thunder defeat the LA Lakers in a close game by 5 points, 122 to 117, as they tied game here in Oklahoma City. And the next game, and trying to get out some disconnected controllers once again, are very annoying. So, let's check out the presentation is ready, and yes, we're ready to go and work. And now, next game, we're heads to Oakland, California in Oracle Arena. We got the Western Conference matchup, features the two of the superstars. Features James Harden and Dwight Howard of the Houston Rockets take on Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson of the Golden State Warriors. And for this game, the Rockets gonna use the alternate jersey instead of red, and then the Warriors gonna use the white shirts. And that'll do it for now. This is Andre Kenshin. We'll be right back after this. Enjoy the video here at the Oracle Arena in Oakland. Anyways, let's get started. Enjoy the video. We're sending over to Kevin Harlan here in Oakland. Here we go.
Welcome to 2K Sports. I'm glad to have you with us for NBA basketball. Friday night in the NBA. It's going to be the Houston Rockets up against the Golden State Warriors. And that'll do it from the studio. Let's get you out to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K Sports broadcast crew at the arena. I'll see you back here at halftime.
The Rockets are looking to defeat their Western Conference rival. Going into this game, 2K Sports brings you Friday night NBA action. This is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr. On the sideline tonight, Doris Burke. Now a chance to check out our starting lineups. Someone we'll be keeping an eye on certainly today, Jeremy Lin.
Tell you what, I'd love to know how many of his assists have come by way of the screen and roll, because when he's the cutter on that play, inevitably one of his teammates winds up with a layup courtesy of one of his passes off the screen.
And every team needs a player like him, a guy who contributes each and every night by doing just the little things. Doing them well, like getting on the floor for loose balls.
The last time these two teams met, it was the Houston Rockets who came away with the W against the Warriors.
I thought the way they attacked the rim and got into the paint was phenomenal. It seemed like after a while, the defense just kind of waved the white flag.
That's exactly what will happen when a team continues to attack the goal and come away with layup. It demoralizes the defense.
Hey, look at the terrific outside shooting for the Golden State Warriors. That's where the league is going, it would seem. Spread the floor, penetrate and kick, and so tough to guard anyone with that kind of floor spacing. But the Warriors, in particular, with those magical three-point shooting.
Thompson with the bucket.
Well, he's so good at recognizing where the openings are and getting the ball to the rim.
Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
Yes, Kevin, I had a chance to catch up with Kevin McHale. A big factor in this game, he said, is how well they do to contain the young shooter Klay Thompson, saying Thompson can really give you trouble coming off screens. We've got to have all-out energy fighting to stay on his hip, and then we need to pressure on the ball handler to try and delay the pass. Kevin, both jobs are hard.
And thank you for that, Doris. Going back to the value of long-range shooting, the new defensive philosophies teams have put into place in recent years, Clark, have really put a premium on it.
No question about it. I mean, you think about how teams defend. They load up on the strong side of the floor to deter drives and post-ups, try to have guys in the gaps and in the lane, and that creates opportunities for the three-point shot, and the Warriors took full advantage of that.
You love talking about this stuff, the X's and O's.
It's always fun.
I know it. Oh, and it's Houston with another.
4 makes on 4 tries. Everything's falling early. 100%. Can't do better than that.
Curry kicks to Bogut. Out to Thompson. Uncovered. And another basket for Golden State. 6 changes of the lead here.
Yeah, no team able to build a big lead early on. I mean, it's tight.
What do you think, Steve?
Well, both teams still kind of feeling each other out here, and neither team has been able to find an edge in this game.
And Parsons gets it to go.
Offensively, he can be the engine that drives them at any given time. Well, you watch the way Parsons moves, and you see how quickly he's able to shift and change direction. And you forget that Chandler Parsons is 6'10", because he moves like a much smaller guy. He's a terrific all-around player. This is a team that's focused, completely locked into the task at hand. What an impressive start to this game.
First quarter of ball, almost 2.5 minutes in. Harden kicks to Howard. Bogut on him. Back to Harden. Three-pointer. And that comes off the assist by Dwight Howard. And it's 9 points for James Harden. And back to Parsons. Clark, he talked about his mobility, a good defender too, and for a young player that's rare. So you look at his size, ability to move his feet, and the upside certainly is there. Then you put him with a guy like Kevin McHale as his coach, and nice array of talent. He's got a good situation.
He does. He's got a bright future. And I'm most impressed with his defense. You talk about a lot of his skills, but Houston will frequently put him on the opponent's best wing offensive player.
Curry against Land. And Curry, here we go. And Iguodala gets it. And assist by Curry. Curry's got his fifth assist in this one. Parsons on the wing. And as it goes out of bounds, Houston able to keep the ball here. Let's pause for just a moment to see the teams that have been extremely effective with their three-point shooting this past month. Second, the Warriors.
Seems like their whole team is in a great rhythm from the three-point line right now. They put on a display from long range.
Now here's Parsons. He had 16 points in the win against the Trailblazers in Portland.
Parsons was really a surprise coming out of Florida. Had a big impact this rookie season with Houston. Very reliable in a lot of areas. Can handle the ball, can knock down a long-range shot, and a better defender than you think as well.
That is what makes Parsons such an easy guy to send down to the floor. You know exactly what he's going to give you on offense and is very consistent. Houston, a whole new 5 on the floor. Douglas for 3, hits the bucket. Douglas has got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball.
Boy, this game is off to a terrific start.
No doubt. On both sides, high-octane offense. You know, when you get an influx of talent through the draft like the Rockets did prior to last season, the initial reaction is excitement, but then you think about, man, how are we going to get these guys ready to play NBA basketball? And the Rockets did a nice job by taking it easy and bringing them along slowly. Yeah, both teams are scoring well, but there hasn't been much defensive resistance either.
And Beverly kicks to Garcia. On Eunice. And another 3 for Houston.
Seems like guarding him on the perimeter is not a priority for this defense, but it will become one if he continues to knock them down.
And for the Rockets, you look at how that strategy worked out for them, and it was exactly what they needed. Got off to a quick start last year, and, Steve, toward the end, their rookies were fresh and able to contribute when it mattered most.
Kevin, it's hard for fans to see a player get drafted and not immediately see the floor, but sometimes that's the best route. You give a player time to adjust, you make him earn it, and by the end of the season, he can be a very effective player. I think plenty of the Rockets players proved that last season.
And Green gets it to go.
How about that? They respond to a three-pointer with a quick 3 of their own.
Yeah, terrific. Great back-and-forth sequence right there.
And Garcia kicks to Williams. And again, it's the Rockets from deep. And it's the Warriors with the ball. They come into this one following the loss to the Mavericks.
They found themselves up against a hot team. Manpower defensively to shut them down.
Guys, I expected a little more fight out of them than what they showed us. They never strung together any stops like they needed to.
A nice first quarter of play. We've seen plenty of offense so far. Rockets ahead, leading by just 2. After this break, we'll be back with the start of the second quarter on 2K Sports.
Next Thursday night, December 19th, Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls take on Kevin Durant and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Be there.
Well, up to this point, a closely contested game. We start the second quarter. And what do you guys think so far about the offensive approach for the Rockets?
Guys, they're really passing the ball well here in the first half.
They've also gotten into a nice rhythm from the three-point line early on tonight.
And so in the game for the Rockets, manning the backcourt, Jeremy Lin along with James Harden. Williams out there with Bonajunas. And it's Howard in at the 5 down low. Okay, well, let's check in with Doris Burke reporting from our sideline in this game. Doris, take it away.
Well, Kevin, Omer Ashik out of Turkey is a force defensively. He first came into the league as a bench contributor for the Chicago Bulls. Ashik said, "It was easier for me because I came to a team that was defensive-minded. Offense at the beginning was a little tough, but I believe I can improve that. When I decided to come to the NBA, my goal was to be a starting center in this league. And guys, he's making strides at the offensive end. But first and foremost, he provides that anchor inside defensively." Kevin, you have to wonder how the acquisition of Dwight Howard changes his role.
We'll see how it plays out. Thanks, Doris. Just over 1 minute has passed here in the second quarter. For the Houston Rockets, they come in off a good outing against the Trailblazers in the Rose Garden.
You know, their percentage from long range that game was off the charts. It seemed like every time the home crowd got going, they just took the wind out of their sails with another three-point barrage.
Yeah, those bombs were really falling.
You look at Harden's career, he was a gifted scorer at Arizona State, but with a slow start in his rookie season, and playing with two of the best players in the league in Oklahoma City, I seem to forget that he's always been a player who can light it up.
And James Harden, the first ever draft pick by the Oklahoma City Thunder after the move from Seattle, certainly. To see him go so soon in his NBA career as he was reaching stardom, that would be tough for fans. And we know Clark certainly for his team.
I agree wholeheartedly there, Kevin. And think of all the fans who wore fake beards on their faces, even buildings in OKC with beards adorning them. So Harden wasn't just a great player, his image was almost a mascot for the team as well.
Well, look at Steve Clark. He's got the fake Harden beard on right now next to us. I mean, geez.
Beard the beard!
Well, what I like about him is that even when he has the ball in the post, he sees the whole court. He's aware of his teammates. He knows where the defense is, and he's constantly trying to get a teammate the best possible shot.
And one other thing about him that you shouldn't fail to appreciate is the presence and impact he has defensively. He can lock you up and wear you down, and that effect really carries over to the rest of the guys. Houston might have made the playoffs in the West last season, guys, but it wasn't because they were beating up on their peers. They were 24 and 28 against the rest of the West. That's why they got the 8th seed.
And that's one of his strengths, knocking down those long-range jumpers.
Parsons dishes to Lin. And another three for Houston.
That's like a layup for him. He's just wide open out there.
You remember the Rockets last year when they were playing a lot of teams in the West near the end of the regular season. That was when they slipped, Steve, out of the 6th seed range down to number 8.
Well, of course, the West was really strong last year, Kevin, so it makes sense that you're going to struggle a little bit against all those good teams. But, Houston ended up being the only team in the West to make the playoffs with a sub-500 record against the rest of the conference.
Now a timeout called by Golden State.
But you look at the turnaround last season for Golden State. A lot of it has to do with the steadying presence of Jarrett Jack and Carl Landry off the bench. Both players brought a toughness and a level of competitiveness that was maybe missing from the Warriors the year before.
James Harden, he's checked in for Jeremy Lin. Here's Iguodala. Good, and Curry gets the assist. Curry's got his 7th assist of the game with that last one.
He's always thinking. That's what I like about him. Spotted the open man and immediately changed out of his shot and gave it up.
Here's Bogut. Back to Thompson. Rejected by Ashik. They retain possession. Looked like a goaltend, yet they're saying it was on the way down. Count.
He almost got to that shot in time, but not quite. You can't touch the ball once it's on the way down.
And for the Warriors, such an impressive turnaround last season, but financial constraints, Clark, make it tricky for them, make it tricky for anybody. Keep teams together.
Well said, but I give the ownership credit for making the commitments necessary to put themselves in a good position going forward, Kevin. After such an impressive postseason showing, I think they want to continue that momentum.
From the sideline, let's catch up with Doris Burke.
Gentlemen, it's no secret that the Bay Area loves its basketball. to the conference semifinals, and they gave me a key to the city. The key to the city for the semis. If we'd won a title, they'd have put a statue of Coach Jackson on top of the bridge. That statue might not be too far off the way they are collecting talent, Kev.
You can tell they've made a big impression. Thanks, Doris. And now the first timeout called here for the Rockets.
You know, it's very rare that you're going to be able to make the playoffs in the West without coming out with a winning record against the rest of the conference. And the Warriors knew that would be important in their quest for the playoffs, and they handled business against the West.
And the Rockets making a change here. Howard's checked in. Curry passes to Barnes. Gets to the rim for two with the D all over him. Barnes has got 5 points in the quarter.
They slowed down casting those triples here in the second.
I'd actually like to see them go back outside, Clark, because they had a good flow, a good pace here early on.
Well, and for the Warriors who fought so hard to get back into the playoffs, last year their 28-24 record against the rest of the West really helped their Boston.
Well, the toughest part of the Warriors' last campaign was a rough stretch of games in February where they dropped off a bit in the race. And, you know, a lot of those games were against Western teams, and if you kind of remove that month, their in-conference record is even more impressive.
They ran that inbounds play perfectly there to get the quick hit.
Shot clock and game clock separated by less than 6 seconds. It's Harden with the drive. And he finishes nicely on the layup. Harden's got 21.
That was the third straight high percentage look this defense has allowed. These defenders have got to start bumping bodies in the paint. Be more physical. Be more aggressive.
I agree, Clark, but it doesn't look like they have the will to do that at this moment.
Howard with it. And again, the Rockets good for 2.
Pretty much no chance for the smaller defender to block that jumper.
Yeah, he knows exactly how to use his size to his advantage there.
So we've reached the end of the first half of play. Rockets lead by 10. And we'll be back for the second half following the break. Keep it right here on 2K Sports.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
It's a lively Friday evening here at 2K Sports. Hopefully you're having a great time watching a little basketball tonight. The Houston Rockets in front against Golden State. One look at their field goal percentage says it all. They're scoring at will. James Harden has been locked in so far. The bucket looks about 5 feet wide for him. He hasn't missed one shot. Can you believe it? And midway through, the Warriors are still alive. A team definitely in the mix for the playoffs, and as a matter of fact, if they win this one, they'll move into the 8th spot. Klay Thompson has been tremendous in the first half. He's got 13 points and also has contributed with his passing, making some assists. Some close games out there. Let's get to them. Utah trailing the Nuggets out in Denver, saddled with an 11-point deficit there in the third. And another game going on. The Spurs battling in a close one against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Second half of basketball going on in a tight one. And now, here's what's going on in the rest of the NBA. In New Orleans, the Pelicans are out ahead against the Grizzlies, about midway through the third out there. And that'll be all for now. Thanks so much for joining us. The third quarter just about to get underway.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
A view of the Bay Bridge spanning from San Francisco over to the East Bay and Oakland.
Talk about a terrific game for Harden. He's got 21 points, and he's buried a ton of three-pointers in this game, too.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of just how many of those he's hit.
Our second half of basketball, and presented by Gatorade. Let's see who's all fueled up and on the floor to start the third. So for the Golden State Warriors right now, on the wing, Thompson and Iguodala. Bogut out there with Harrison Barnes. And it's Curry in at the point guard position. Thompson backing down. And it's blocked by Harden. Lynn kicks to Harden. And he makes no mistake on the slam dunk.
Oh, he's explosive, Kevin. I mean, a lot of time, all it takes is a basket or two. To really get his motor running, and suddenly he becomes almost impossible to handle.
And there's something else on his resume that can't be overlooked. Just how many times he's taken over at the end of close games and carried his team to the win.
That's what has to happen if they're going to turn this thing around. He's got to take charge. He's got to be aggressive and really look to push here offensively.
And for Dwight Howard last season, no doubt injuries held him back. But I've got to give him credit. He still led them. With over 12 a game. Remarkable. Now that's finishing your work right there.
Powerful two-hand jam. You're right.
If he's got a few more of those in him, this lead will really start shrinking.
Here's Thompson. That's good. Thompson's got 15 points. And for Howard, averages of 17 and 12. Not bad at the center position.
Yeah, but we're used to seeing him get kind of 23 and 14. So, Dwight has worked hard to try to get back to 100%. When he's right, he is the best center in the NBA, but when he's right is the key phrase there.
Now a timeout called by Golden State.
The Rockets did a lot to make over their backcourt last season as they brought in two big names in Jeremy Lin and James Harden. And that's not always an easy adjustment. Took a little time for both of those guys to figure out how to coexist in the pick and roll offense.
And both slams it in.
When the shots finally dropping for them in bunches, and I'll tell you what, the bunch in this game has totally changed.
That kind of offensive eruption was the only thing that was going to get them back into this one.
And Clark, as you said, took some time for this Houston backcourt to learn how to play with each other, but that is the case for any duo. They found a happier medium, and that initiated some great offense between them.
Well, they were much more effective down the stretch last season, Kevin, and I thought it really showed in the way Lin and Harden kind of played off of each other. So, a lot of teams, they seem to want to have that second option for bringing the ball up or for attacking, and it is very effective to have a couple of guys who can each attack and create.
2 minutes into the second half of play now. Back to Harden. From deep three-point range, and that one's good. Harden's got 7 points for the quarter.
Coming out strong here in the third quarter. That's 4 for 5 shooting for this team.
Curry dishes to Iguodala. Count that one.
Boy, it was an impressive turnaround for Mark Jackson and the Warriors last season. I mean, his promise of making the playoffs didn't come together in his first season at the controls, but in year 2, they got it done. And I tell you what, most thought Mark would be a really outstanding coach, and he's well on his way to making that a reality.
Parsons, he's covered by Iguodala. Warriors trail by 7. Pass to Bogut. knocks it off the glass. Bogut's got his third basket of the night. And for Mark Jackson, there have been some questions. He'd never spent time as a coach, even as an assistant. I guess the question was, would he be able to take over the reins as a head coach?
Well, the biggest thing you want to do as an NBA coach is have your players buy into what you're selling. And Mark Jackson's been able to do that. His players believe in him. He motivates them. They like playing for him. And that's most of the battle right there.
And that one's good. Beverly. 1:53 left to play here in the third. Now here's Douglas, defended by Beverly. Here's Barnes, right through the knee for the layup. Barnes has got 7 points.
Well, as for them being behind in this game, you certainly can't put any of it on his shoulders. He's been tremendous offensively. Harrison Barnes was thought to be a shooter more than a slasher when he came into the league, and while he's been able to be effective from distance, he showed off some of his incredible athleticism with his ability to get to the rim, too.
And out of bounds as the Rockets gain possession. At the break in the action, time for a rundown now of the most accurate shooters and small forward over the last 10 games. Chandler Parsons is second.
And that tells you about those players' ability to slash through the defense and get to the hoop effectively, because you have to be getting a lot of layups to have that kind of shooting percentage.
But you also have to have an excellent outside shot, and all of them do it. Small forward, you have to be reliable from the perimeter as well.
Andre Iguodala. He's checked in for the Warriors. Klay Thompson comes in for Nedovic. Howard, that's good. And for Harrison Barnes, he's worked on his ball handling a lot to enhance his ability to drive.
Yeah, footwork, ball handling, passing, those were the areas where he really didn't shine at North Carolina. But he's worked hard at his game, and he's found out his offensive repertoire really well.
Never seemed to blink. Handled the big stage, I thought, well.
Yeah.
Harden the pass to Howard. And another three for Houston.
And the threes continue to go down at that end with almost nothing happening from deep at the other.
But the way to turn that around is defensively, by stopping their outside shot, not by getting into a shootout.
You know, if you were only looking at the way he's played offensively, you'd think his team would be ahead.
Harden against Douglas. Barnes. That's good with a Douglas assist. Douglas has got his third assist on the play.
Wide open three. They need much better communication defensively.
Howard kicks to Harden. And another three for Houston.
Absolutely on fire from beyond the arc.
Yeah, that's where he's getting his points.
Here is Douglas. That one goes. Count. Douglas has got 17.
What an excellent performance from the field for him.
3 seconds left. Howard. And you can count it. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it 3.
Look at the combination of size and touch. That's why he's a great finisher down low.
This is his second trip to the free throw line. third quarter, it's been a good one. The Rockets on top, up by 6. And we're just moments away from the start of the fourth quarter. Stay with us.
Tune in next Thursday, December 19th. Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs go up against Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors, live from Oracle Arena. Don't miss it.
All right, we welcome you back. Well, it's been a hard-fought battle. Fourth quarter should be good. And guys, what do you think about the offensive approach we've seen so far for the Rockets?
So far, they've turned in a fantastic performance from the three-point line. It's been a weapon all game.
Their passing also continues to be outstanding, Clark. In the second half, we're really seeing a good, efficient offense as a result of that ball movement.
So on the floor for Houston, they've got Garcia. Omer Ashik is out there with Matajunas. Then it's Jeremy Lin. And it's Williams at the small forward. Here's Curry. Iguodala. And another three for Golden State.
And this game is really heated up. I didn't think it could get any more high scoring than it already was.
Well, there's always room for more offense, Steve. You know that.
And it's Thompson with the jam.
Boy, I love it. Active hands on the steal, active feet on the fast break.
And Clark power on the dunk.
Guys, this is just too close of a game to be giving the ball up like that and then failing to get back in transition.
Garcia. He's covered by Thompson. Garcia's shot is good. Here's Curry. A little over a minute of the fourth quarter gone right now. For the three. And another three for Golden State.
All the guys you want to leave open out on the perimeter. He is the absolute last guy on the list. Attention to detail. Know your personnel.
And that one's good.
What a floor leader he's been at the offensive end.
You know, he's done a terrific job of moving the ball around, sharing it, dispersing it, and running the show.
Dwight Howard. He's checked in for Matajunas. Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
Yes, Kevin, I was able to listen in on what Mark Jackson was going over with his team. He told them it's time to fight and take the lead. Let's put ourselves in position to bring it home. Guys, we'll see if they've got what it takes to get it done.
Phenomenal alley-oop. Slam right there, guys.
They're taking advantage, Clark, of a team that looks lost out there.
Yeah, this is threatening to get kind of ugly out here.
Here's Barnes. It's sent back by Howard. Lynn kicks to Howard. Yes! And a nice assist from Lynn. And now an 8-point Rocket lead. Well, something you never like to see, but guys, he definitely looks hurt.
Yeah, from the look on his face, he's in a lot of pain.
Yeah, it sure looks that way. He's going to come out of the game right now and get that thing checked out.
Jermaine O'Neal's checked in for Golden State. To end the run, that's the bucket. 21 points for Andre Iguodala.
He's doing all he can to keep his team in the game. Hasn't missed a single shot.
And the jam by Harden.
He's their go-to guy. When he shoots the ball like he has today, that's what the scoreboard usually looks like.
We're in the fourth quarter here, just under 2.5 minutes gone. Iguodala outside. From the wing. And there the Warriors now with another bucket.
Look out, guys. I think there's a lot more where that came from. When he gets it going like this, it is not easy to slow him down.
Chandler Parsons, he's checked in for Houston. Rockets leading by 5. Power kicks to Harden. Parsons on the wing. Launches a 3. And again, it's the Rockets from deep.
Great interplay there between those two teammates.
Golden State running out of time. Outside Curry. Iguodala with it. Now guarded by Parsons. O'Neal dishes to Iguodala. And another 3 for Golden State.
No matter what the score is, his attitude has been perfect. I love his disposition. He has stayed in attack mode.
Lynn kicks to Parsons. Howard. And it's Houston with another.
He's been one of their more reliable options today, guys. I mean, his shooting has led them to this lead.
The Warriors making a switch here. Roberts checked in. Thompson against Harden. Thompson passes to Curry. He dishes it to Iguodala. Thompson outside. Lets it go with a 3. That falls. Nice speed that time from Andre Iguodala.
They're getting their points now almost exclusively from the three-point line. That's 4 of the last 5. You got to run those guys off the line.
I agree, and the defense is practically giving them those shots, though.
And it's Thompson with the jam.
Oh, the kind of moments you love to see. Excellent defense leading to a dunk at the other end.
Clark, you got to marvel at the transition game when they've got it clicking. It's really explosive.
High octane for sure.
And turning defensive pressure into offensive opportunities, that's what it's all about.
Houston in the lead. 1:19 left in the fourth quarter. The 3 from Harden. And again, it's the Rockets from deep.
You got to love to see that kind of range. He's been lighting it up from outside.
Thompson dishes to Bogut. Powered down after the assist. There's guys, that old defense. Just watching him poke Gardner right by.
I think we might be seeing which team is ready to take control of this game.
Yeah, that's a dunk that could absolutely get them going. I agree, Clark.
56 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Pass to Curry. For 3. Money! And he is put down to within 2 points.
The defense got butterflies the second that shot went up because they know he typically delivers in the clutch.
Parsons, he's covered by Iguodala. Harden kicks to Lynn. It's stolen by Curry. To tie it up. Sinks it. A huge shot to tie it up.
Ooh, a pressure basket right there.
Now that's coming through in the clutch.
And so it looks like the Rockets will retain possession here. The 3 from Harden. Trains it from downtown.
And that's what you love to do as a road team, Kevin. Hit the big shot to take the crowd right out of it.
Yeah, they've done that for sure.
They sure have. That shot right there had a huge effect on this crowd.
Just 2 seconds between shot clock and game clock.
Guys, he's one of the main reasons this game is tied up. I mean, he's done his part to keep them in it.
Outside, Lynn. Bullseye!
Nice play. They're in control. Just play solid, good defense. No quick buckets and no easy three.
From downtown! Count it! Oh, that was an enormous three-pointer.
Feels like a flip has been switched at halftime because both teams now really getting after it.
And it's been a fun half of basketball, Steve.
Now Harden. And we're going to overtime. Defensive play to keep them alive. Time expires, and we're going to overtime. It's the NBA on 2K Sports from Oracle Arena in Oakland, California. Well, if you're just joining us, the intensity has really heated up in this one. As we watch this one go now. To overtime, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineup for us now in overtime. Setting the floor for the Warriors, Steph, Clay, and Dre on the perimeter. Bogut out there with Harrison Barnes. Curry kicks to Iguodala. The feed to Bogut. With the fadeaway. And Count Kavasky is fouled, and he's going to the line for one more.
Yeah, that's just too easy. He is so skilled inside.
On offense, here are the Rockets. Harden kicks to Lynn. And again, it's the Rockets from deep.
Textbook right there. Nice pass, great catch, beautiful finish.
Warriors trail by 3. Outside Curry. Here's Thompson. And a great assist by Fleury as that one goes in. Thompson's got 26 points. Harden the pass to Parsons. Where's the dish to Lynn? And again, it's the Rockets from deep.
You know, there's no better sign of how efficiently a team is operating than their assist number. And there's our...
It's just beautiful basketball to watch, Clark.
Got a piece of it. Stolen by Jeremy Lin. Here's Harden for the finish. It's rebounded by Curry. On the wing, it's Iguodala. Too open that time. Made it look too easy. Iguodala's got 31.
Tell you what, this is as dialed in as you will ever see a player.
And you know what, Steve? If they're smart, they'll get him the ball every trip down. You know what? That was good defensive effort. But on a shooter like him, sometimes it just isn't enough.
Thompson dishes to Iguodala. Bogut. And he uses the glass on the lane. Bogut's got 5 points in the quarter. Huge shot there, and the crowd, Clark, knows it.
Complete euphoria there, Kevin. They're going crazy.
Talk about some happy people, man. These fans are fired up. Good.
And so it's Golden State with it. It's a 5-point game. It's Thompson off the drive. Banked in off the glass. Thompson's got 28 points for the game.
Look at the points in the paint, the inside game. It's been very one-sided here for a while now.
Well, the defense just hasn't been physical enough at the rim. I mean, 8 of their last 10 points have come from the paint.
All the buckets he's poured in today put them in a terrific position heading into the stretch.
Free throw good, Howard.
That free throw there caps off a huge possession for him. Those are big points at this stage of the game.
Here's Paul.
Man, he got fancy with that one, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe trying to give them momentum boost they need to break this game open.
Yeah, I like that. And some coaches might want to see just a sure-handed lay-in, but I'd say put as much as you can on the finish and get your teammates going.
Tries to save it. And Parsons kicks to Lynn. Harden the pass to Howard. Lays it up, and despite of the excellent defense at that, Howard's got 34.
Time running low here. They need a hoop.
Yeah, score quickly and then foul him right away.
And there's the call on Howard. That's foul number 2 for him.
Tough break for the defense. He took the heat and drew the whistle.
Yep, but when you get there late, that's what happens.
We're in OT here with just over 2.5 minutes gone by. Thompson inside the line. It's in! And now they trail by just 4. Harden kicks to Howard. Good!
And with that basket, you'd have to think this lead is safe.
Well, not 100% safe, certainly 95%.
The 3 from Barnes. Good! What a beautiful shot to bring them within 3. And they go to the intentional foul.
Yeah, you can't let them pound the ball and just milk those precious seconds away.
No other option here but to foul and hope for a few misses at the line.
And so he drops them both. It's a 5-point game.
No mistakes there. I think you can close the book on this one, guys. It's done.
The 3 buries it from outside. They're up by 2. 5 seconds left to play in the first overtime. And what an exciting game here with 3 minutes played so far in overtime. And they need to stop the clock, so there's a foul. He drops the first one, and that makes it a 3-point lead. So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's a 4-point ball game. Puts up the prayer. And so it's a narrow victory for Houston, pulling it out for the double. You know, Clark, they couldn't put him away in regulation, but after a superb performance in overtime, they managed to get the job done.
Yeah, this is an amazing game, but they pulled away at the end.
Well, that'll do it. For Doris Burke, Steve Curry, Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan saying so long. We'll see you next time. And as we leave, we give you our Jordan Player of the Game, James Harden.
while ending here in Oakland, California, as the Rockets survive in overtime against the Warriors in a close one, 146 to 142. Now DeAndre Jordan is ready to heal. No! After the game, Jeremy Lin, who announced there will be out for 46 weeks. No! After the game, because Jeremy Lin will be out for 46 weeks due to the broken finger. Francisco Garcia, everyone is Rocket injury. Everyone after the game here. Oh my god, Jeremy Lin is suffered already. After the game of Steve Rocket's team. Lin is out. How did they get out of the connected? There we go. Let's check them again. Unbelievable. Continue disconnected. And Starburn continue. That Starburn continues with the disconnected. How is supposed to be doing the disconnected? How did it go there? This one. Alright, let's see what's gonna check the view box score. Andre Iguodala got 34 and 8, and I stopped again. I guess why is this happening because it's connected? The unplugged is not good. Alright, let's see. Andre Iguodala got 34, Klay Thompson got 3, Harrison Barnes got 18, Steph Curry got 18, 17. You see 17 assists for Curry. And look at the James Harden's got 46 points, 16 assists. Dwight Howard got 36 and 5. Lin got 23 and 9. So that was good finish here in Utah. Fortunately, Jeremy Lin will not play because of injury due to the broken finger. So let's check out the schedule right here. Lakers, Bobcats, Clippers, Wizards, Raptors, Bulls, Spurs, Jazz, Cavaliers, Heat, Hawks, Knicks, and the Bucks, Mavericks, along with Trailblazers, Sixers. It's gonna simulate right now who's gonna get there. Everyone's gonna be injured for Sacramento. Jake Crowder will heal. Everyone's in white now. Nightmare for Houston. We got the Bobcats stun the Lakers again. Clippers win over the Wizards. And Raptors somehow stun the Bulls. Even Spurs lose to the skid for Utah Jazz. Heat beat the Cavaliers. Hawks beat the Knicks. And the Bucks beat the Mavericks. And then the Blazers beat the Kings. Come on! I can do it again. Stop doing disconnected controllers. Because of I smashed the fall of the controller damage. Move on to the next game. We got the Rockets, Kings, Timberwolves, Grizzlies, Trailblazers, Pistons, Magic Thunder, Pelicans, Nuggets, and Warriors, Suns. It's important. The Rockets were about to win the easy victory here for the Sacramento. Lamar Odom, everyone will healing up. Mark Gasol will be hurt for 1 to 2 weeks. John Jenkins right now. And John Wall will be out for 1 to 2 weeks due to the lower back strain. No, the C was checked out. And they stopped the 4-game winning streak for the Sacramento Kings. So DeMarcus Cousins got 25-11, Howard got 32-11, and Harden got 31-11. Grizzlies, Pistons, Thunder, Pelicans, and Warriors. Move on December 16. Pistons, Pacers, Magic, Bulls, Lakers, Hawks, Timberwolves, Celtics, Sixers, Nets, Jazz, Heat, Wizards, Knicks, and a good game. We got important Spurs and the Clippers. It's gonna simulate right there. It's gonna simulate for the game here. We see Pau Gasol will be hurt for third back, along with Kaman and Rajon Rondo. No, he will be out for 6 and 8 weeks due to the torn hand ligament. No, we got another injury. Rajon Rondo. They losing the Minnesota players. Chris Paul will be hurt for plantar. Wow. Sean Marion, Ty Lawson will be hurt. Jeff Whitley will be out for Achilles due to these 1 to 2 weeks. Chauncey Billups now healed. And Tim Duncan finally awake to return to play in the Spurs. Jerron Green, Markham Lee, and everyone's right now injury so far. See, we got the Pacers and the Magic again. Somehow stunned Chicago. Hawks, Celtics, Nets, Heat dominate the Jazz, Knicks, and the Clippers. Okay, not bad. It's gonna be good. Move on to another game here. We got the Kings, Bobcats, Blazers, Cavaliers, Lakers, Grizzlies, Thunder, Nuggets, and Pelicans, Warriors. Gonna simulate another game here. Josh McRoberts, everyone's healed. Jason Maxwell again. We got out for 1 or 2 weeks due to a high ankle sprain. Vince Carter will be got flu day to day. Devin Harris finally will awake to return to play after the injury. Thiago Splitter will be out, and then will be hopefully rehealed. So let's check out the video box score. Buckets getting dominate over the Kings. Blazers beat the Cavaliers. Lakers now beat the Grizzlies on a row. Thunder beat the Nuggets, and Warriors beat the Pelicans. And finally, our first game of the day, we're going to American Airlines Arena for a marquee matchup. It is gonna be Paul George and Danny Granger of the Indiana Pacers take on LeBron James, Dwayne Wade of Miami Heat. Jazz take on the Magic, Buckets take on the Raptors, Knicks take on the Bucks, Blazers take on the Timberwolves, Spurs take on the Suns, Kings take on the Hawks, Pistons take on the Celtics, Wizards take on the Nets, Grizzlies take on the Mavericks, Pelicans take on the Clippers, and our second game of the day heads to Houston, Texas. We got Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah of the Chicago Bulls take on Dwight Howard and James Harden of the Houston Rockets. To see what now the Spurs report. And now Tim Duncan is about to return the game. However, they have to play back-to-back games, both Phoenix and Golden State. First, we need some swap to reserve, replace the reserve. Will be replaced to Boris Diaw. Let's replace with the Boris Diaw now. And we're gonna replace, we're gonna keep it out of here. We're gonna keep reverse to 15 minutes. Let's get 15 minutes up to 25. And then I'm gonna keep it Pitt with Duncan starter. And let's check out from Devin Harris. Red Scar will be here, will be replaced. Wherever we want to replace. Let's get Rain Ellington now. Alright, gonna be replacement. Everyone is healed, ready to return of Devin Harris, guys. Rajon Rondo not good for now. Gonna replace with some injuries right now. It's gonna be good. Let's check it out right now. You see random to miss time with torn and ligament. That was not, unfortunately, for the Boston Celtics. So we are going tomorrow night. We have another double hitter for you. Next game, we're off to Miami, Florida. First game of the day, we got a marquee matchup in the Eastern Conference duo. It's Paul George and Danny Granger of the Indiana Pacers take on LeBron James and Dwayne Wade of the Miami Heat, and followed by the second game of the day. Head to Toyota Center. It features Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah of the Chicago Bulls take on Dwight Howard and James Harden of the Houston Rockets. And that'll do it for now. This is Andre Kenshin. What a game in overtime where the Rockets defeat the Warriors in a close game, 146 to 142. I'm Andre Kenshin. Yes, earlier now, the NBA playoffs wrap up for Game 7 as the Nuggets dominate the Clippers in Game 7. To advances to face with SGA in the top seed, mighty Oklahoma City Thunder. And we have tomorrow, the last first round game will be another Game 7 heading into Toyota Center. It features the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. Will be the Houston Rockets trying to become a 14th team in NBA history to come back down 3-1 in the history of the NBA playoffs, or will be the Warriors on board and collapse. On the other hand, in the semifinals begin, the Indiana Pacers take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Will be starting tomorrow. And that'll do it for now. This is Andre Kenshin as the Houston Rockets defeat the Golden State Warriors in overtime, 146 to 142. I'm Andre Kenshin. Say so long for Toyota Center in Oracle Arena in Oakland. We'll see you tomorrow for the first game here at American Airlines Arena for the Indiana Pacers and the Miami Heat. And followed by the second game is then gonna be the Houston Rockets and the Chicago Bulls. Once again, this is Andre Kenshin. It's time to say sign up and peace out. Good night, and we reach for 1 hour. And reminder, we'll see you tomorrow for another double hitter. Again, we got the Pacers and the Heat, and then the second game is the Bulls and the Rockets. Sign up and peace out. Good night!